This is the film I've been waiting for from the Jurassic Park franchise for quite some time. Upon seeing the trailers, I was cautiously optimistic about this film. I was a little concerned it'd be something along the lines of um, what we saw with the Cloverfield franchise, where it kind of just dipped in quality. I enjoyed the first one. It was a nice like send off of like Godzilla, like an American version of Godzilla, and then I really liked 10 Cloverfield Lane. It felt like a play almost, something that was very contained. I do think that completely derails when we get to the ending, and there is no ambiguity left in the film whatsoever. It just turns into like sci-fi slush at the end there. And then with the Cloverfield paradox, we really dipped in quality. Um, so when I saw the trailers for the end of Oak Street, I assumed it was going to be something similar to Cloverfield. I I would hesitate to go that far. The vibes are kind of there in the terms and sense of there's a weird situation with time travel, but outside of that, it does not feel like a Cloverfield movie at all. It feels like something a whole lot better and more nostalgic. Obviously, the comparisons to Jurassic Park and the Jurassic World franchise are going to be there. No other film series has really tackled dinosaurs and has been consistent with it. Um, I love Jurassic Park. I think it's a wonderful film. It has this enchantment about it, this sense of wonder and amazement. And then the follow up sequels to the original trilogy are okay for what they are. Um, Sorry, that's hopeful. Um, I thought Jurassic World was with Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt was amazing. That's what I wanted to see since I was a child, in terms of the park opening and what would happen if Jurassic World was something that was actually open to the public. The two sequels that followed Jurassic World, I think, were abysmal. Fallen Kingdom was again very contained, and then that newer film, I did not like it at all. It completely moved away from what made Jurassic Park and Jurassic World so entertaining and so enthralling. So it's really interesting and nice to see another film come in and tackle this idea of dinosaurs in the modern world. Obviously, this is very different from Jurassic Park in terms of it's not like a mad scientist situation or Frankenstein riff. It's more so a time travel element. But even then, it's not really, I would say, a sci-fi film in terms of the majority of its content. It's more of an adventure film, something like Indiana Jones or something like I would even say Gremlins. It has horror elements, but doesn't fully go into horror. It feels like an action adventure, but it's not completely unspectacle, and it has a big heart at its center. Similar to something like Poltergeist, where Poltergeist is, I would call it like a gateway horror film that it's accessible to younger audiences and a lot of general population audiences that aren't um, too keen on the horror genre. That's what the end of Oak Street feels like. It just feels like all these fun, nostalgic movies I grew up with that my parents saw when they were kids, and then they ended up sharing with me, particularly Poltergeist. That's one of my mom's favorite films. That's my favorite film. Um, and again, just that sense of wonder and magic that I haven't felt in a while in a movie theater. If you've seen the original Gremlins, Joe Dante's Gremlins, that's probably the closest I can come to in terms of a film comparison where it again, a kid can watch this film, but it just pushes the envelope a little bit. It's a hard PG-13. There's an F bomb drop that's calculated and perfect. The violence is a little obscured, but it's enough that you hear and see that you can fill in the blanks. Um, but at its core, Ian McGregor and Anne Hathaway really ground this film into a family spectacle, because it is about a mother and father who may not have the best relationship as of now, going out of their way to do everything they can to save their children from this horrible situation they're in. So, can't recommend it enough. It really made me feel like, oh, I might have seen this movie somewhere. This is something I grew up with. It felt nostalgic, which is awesome. A lot of Spielberg comparisons. I totally get it. This is what I wanted Disclosure Day to feel like. That sense of being a kid again, and being enthralled by something on the screen. Um, that's something I do think the Jurassic World franchise is sorely missing, that sense of wonder at the fact that there's dinosaurs. And I know they went a different way with it and saying like, oh, dinosaurs are so mundane now, and there's, people are bored with it. I don't think that was the way to go with that series. And I really enjoyed how End of Oak Street really just added that sense of wonder again to dinosaurs. Obviously, there's fear involved with the dinosaurs and whatever creatures are around. Um, but such a fun film overall. I can't say enough good things about it. I I really hope it finds an audience. I don't know if it's gonna do as well just because of the competition at the box office, but I think this is one of those films that maybe down the line it will get discovered. Um, I definitely see it as a film that teenagers or preteens might kind of use as a foray and dip into the horror elements, the horror genre. So that's a very exciting concept. As for like things I was on the fence about or negatives, the CGI isn't amazing. I do like the design of the dinosaurs. They include feathers, so that helps distinguish it from Jurassic Park, that franchise. Um, but yeah, the CGI is okay. It doesn't take away from the film. If they went the practical route, that would have been great. But I understand budget constraints and things of that nature. Um, and that's pretty much it. One thing I do believe people might be a little iffy about is they're not big on explaining what happened. We're given, oh, this is what must have occurred, and then that's it. It's not like there's this big conspiracy about some government agency. It's nothing like going back to the Cloverfield comparisons. It's nothing like that where there's all this lore behind the Slusho brand and all these things. It's just an anomaly that occurred that sent this neighborhood into prehistoric times, and then that's it. There is more exploration of time travel towards the end, um, but that's where we stop with the explanations. But if anything, I feel like the lack of complete explanations and exposition dumps make the film more fun. Again, it's just something that happened. It's weird, it's strange, but it's fun. Um, I will also say the film does have a big emotional punch, a couple emotional punches throughout its third act, and I think they're handled wonderfully. They're definitely earned. They're not things that are shoehorned in there. I think they did a really good job setting up the marriage, or the rocky marriage between the characters that Anne Hathaway and Ian McGregor play. The children were fun as well, and there is a really fun scene involving the dog Starbuck, and I love that literary allusion to Moby Dick, which again you can see the comparisons of people chasing animals, people chasing monsters, being obsessed with trying to control nature. I did see the discourse online about Warner Brothers and using AI to make that video to help promote the film. It had Starbuck and other two dogs like running a dog podcast. That was very unfortunate, and I think it has to be stated that was the marketing um, department of the film company. That's not the makers of this movie. I just say that just because I did see a lot of people online say, oh, they're not going to support this film anymore because of Warner Brothers going the route of using AI to promote it. But I think that's I understand where people are coming from, but that's detrimental to the film itself and the people that really put time in and effort to create such a wonderful story that feels so nostalgic and just enchanting. I really hope um, that we learn from this marketing mistake and don't go this route. The film deserves to be seen. It's a fun movie. Don't let a stupid decision made by a marketing executive derail you from seeing this film. Voice your opinion, obviously, but the film deserves to be seen. It's a fun way to end the summer. Um, One more thing about that stupid AI video. It was a spoiler. It revealed a big thing that happens at the end of the film involving Starbuck. So throughout the entirety of the film, I knew there was going to be a big, like, Starbuck comes back and does something heroic. And that's exactly what happened. So shame on Warner Brothers for using AI and then spoiling such a fun element of the film because we didn't know what was going on. I know Anne Hathaway did a couple of interviews, and in one of them she did mention if a dog dies in a film, it should automatically be rated R. So that at least assured people that the dog would survive, Starbuck would survive, which in itself is a spoiler. But that AI video spoiled what Starbuck does at the end of the film, so stupid all around. Is this like a jumping off point for a franchise? I don't know. Um, Maybe it can go the route of being like a pseudo anthology where not every single entry is directly connected to the characters we spend time with or set in that prehistoric setting. But I like the concept. I like the feel of the film, and I highly suggest um, if you're able to go out and watch it. The audience I saw it with had a blast. There was gasping. There was a lot of interactive moments, and a lot of fun surprises throughout the film. Just word of warning: the violence can get a little. How would I phrase it? It pushes the envelope for a PG-13 rating, so just heads up. Great gateway horror film, very much in line with Gremlins or Poltergeist, but there's a couple of scenes where it does push the envelope, and I like that. I miss films as strictly from the 80s that weren't afraid to be PG and have some pretty heavy conversations in there, some heavy emotional punches, or show a little violence, something like again Gremlins, Poltergeist, or even those conversations that the kids have in Home Alone, where they're like fighting with one another, or what Drew Barrymore says to her brother in E.T. So again, it just feels so nostalgic and so fun. If you have a chance to see it, go see it. That is it for this review. We'll see you guys later. Bye, Opal. Say bye, Opal.